Hello, hello, one and all. Welcome once again to the Candy Aisle. Today, up for review, it's the Clark Bar. Yup, that's right. Clark. Finally done on the Candy Aisle. I'm actually not overly familiar with this bar. I mean, I'm sure I've heard of it a few times, but it is not one that we normally get up here in the Great White North. The Clark Bar, of course, created and produced by the incomparable Mr. Dick Clark. No, I'm just kidding. It is actually named after a man named Clark, though. D.L. Clark created this bar in Pennsylvania in the 1917, I think it was that came out. I do know that this bar was produced in an effort for the war, for World War One, and it was shipped out to the troops, as it was in World War Two as well. But it that was sort of an essential part of the war effort. It said on an article I read about this bar that actually that there were some labor strikes back in the day, and they were planning on. They were going to have to shut down the factory, and the American government stepped in to ensure that the Clark bars got out to the troops. So that's nice. Through this like series of, it went through a number of different hands. The company was family owned up until 1955, and then D.L. Clark Candy or D.L. Clark Confectionery or something, whatever it was. They sold it off, and it went through a series of hands, including Necco. More recently, not the most recent. Necco, of course, had a bankruptcy restructure in 2018. And so I believe this bar is under Boyer or Boyer Foods or Boyer Confections is what I said. But if I look on the back here, it's funny because it just says made in the USA here, right? And it actually just says New England Confectionery from Revere, Massachusetts. And it says Necco. But I don't believe this is. I don't know. Maybe with the restructure, I'm not entirely sure how Necco, what the deal with Necco was when they had their bankruptcy. So anyway, that doesn't really matter. It's a Clark bar, right, guys? It's a thing. It's been around for a very long time, and I'm excited to give it a try. Let's see. Interestingly, this bar is it's a peanut and caramel center. It's actually like a pressed mixture. So kind of, I think this is going to be kind of like the Canadian crispy crunch with like pressed layers of peanut butter. But it's around, and then there's a core of a spun taffy. It's like a caramel essentially, but it's pulled and spun like a taffy in the core. This was the first candy bar apparently to use like a multi-centered core. And on here, though, it just says real milk chocolate and real peanut butter crunch. So we'll see about that candy core. I know that it has gone through a couple of different iterations over the years, and it was a little tricky to figure out what was what with this bar, honestly. Oh, it looks like it broke in the package. That is okie dokie, though. All right. I got a half of it right here. Yep, and you can see, yeah, it does look like pressed layers of, like almost the way, like not as flaky, but like the same way that Butterfinger does, or here in Canada the crispy crunch. Smells alright. Let's give it a shot. A little like it's a little like it's like not dusty, but it's like a weird pale chocolate, right? Anyway, let me give it a shot. Wow. I just wanted to show you guys that snap. Whew. Wow. Check out this cross section. You can see those layers, right? And this band here, is that the caramel? I guess it is. I like the snap. I like the crunch. I don't know about the the caramel in the middle though. Hold on. Oh. The combination of the chocolate and the pressed peanuts, great. This is very, very reminiscent of the Crispy Crunch bar. I don't think I've ever had this bar. And you know what? I never realized that America had a bar like the Crispy Crunch. But I don't know that Crispy Crunch has caramel in it. Or if it does, it's mixed in with the peanut. So, in the same way that a Crispy Crunch, or even a Butterfinger, you know when you get into it and you start chomping through all that buttery, flaky bits, there's actually like a stickiness to it, and then in your mouth it can kind of like. So it's either that that's happening, or the caramel is not like the flavor is really good. It's the late texture game in your mouth that's bothering me. It's like sticky. That's sort of what I'm trying to get at. And I'm trying to figure out whether it's the pressed peanut butter layers or it is this caramel layer here, or the caramel, maybe the caramel you sort of infused throughout it. I don't know. It's a little messy too. Guys, on the flavor tip, you know what? It's good. Honestly, in terms of flavor, tops. This thing is great. Really, really good. But I don't know that I'm sold on the bar as a whole. Firstly, this is like legit messy. Even a Butterfinger is not this bad. And that's kind of known for like flaking all over the place. This is definitely messier than a Crispy Crunch. I mean, still, if I was grading this just on flavor, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5. Very good. But with the messiness and then with that stickiness, I don't like having caramel feel like that feel. I don't know what it is, but that feel like caramel is stuck to my teeth at the end of a bite. It's like my teeth are going to stick together. I don't know. It just does not make me happy. I like soft, kind of gooey caramel overall better. I'd rather go for a caramel bar, 9 times out of 10, than a hard, sticky, crunch, stick to your teeth caramel. So, probably not. That's just a more of a personal thing, though. Like, I know there are people who love that kind of hard caramel, sort of tofifi or tofife, depending on where you're from, like that kind of a caramel experience. But it's not for me. So with that said, although the taste is great, the experience of the whole bar and the ending of every bite is not just doesn't cut it for me. So I'm gonna rate it a 3 out of 5. It's a strong 3 because honestly the flavor is good. If I was walking down the street, maybe this sort of a flaky explosion wouldn't bother me so much. But and maybe that wouldn't bother you if you were eating this, or if I ate it like a regular person, not like a weirdo pulling it apart in front of a camera. Anyway, 3 out of 5 is my take on it. I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you guys like the Clark bar? I know I think there are other versions of this, but who knows with all of the the legal stuff that's happened with Clark bar. I believe they were gone from shelves for a while and now they're back. But what do you make of it? Like, are you guys a fan of Clark bars? Did you have this growing up if you're from the States? Is this one you like or go to regularly? It's an interesting bar, and I'm glad I had a chance to try it. But I don't know that it's one I would seek out. There is a Canadian comparison to the Crispy Crunch, and honestly, the Crispy Crunch is better. It's just better. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Definitely interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more reviews coming down the pike. I will talk to you next time. So long, amigos.